What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to the channel. So we're jumping in with some One Punch Man world update and what the status of this game is. I don't think that there's very many people too concerned with the status of One Punch Man world. It's just I won't say it's dead on arrival, but it's definitely taking its nosedive really quickly. So to start off with the 229 update, we do have the limited time character draw for Atomic Samurai. I'm not exactly sure how many people were necessarily excited for another limited time character draw, but here you have it. The exciting SSR character Atomic Samurai arrives in One Punch Man, and according to them, he's no longer going to be obtainable from any draw until the banner returns at a later date. Essentially, what we're looking at is more than likely a rotation of banners of characters, so we'll probably see these characters reintroduced maybe in another 3 to 6 months, and they'll probably be on some type of cycle there for limited times. It's hard to gauge where these characters will be and whether or not they'll be added. I think the smarter move for them would have been to add Atomic, like for instance, it's a limited time draw, so that way they have a bonus rate up, and then after that bonus rate up, they basically just go into the pool of characters at a later date for like your free-to-play characters or whatever. It's not, listen, it's gacha game mechanics. They want you to have that fear of missing out. I think unfortunately with this game, you don't really have a whole lot of fear of missing out. So you can see that they have the draw pack for Atomic Samurai available in the game. Price 190 world gold, is limited to 1 purchase per player, and you get the Atomic Samurai Will × 3, the limited draw tickets × 20, an Atomic Samurai SR impression weapon, and the impression weapon, it's the impression arms, not weapons, and then some upgrade items. So essentially what this basically is the same thing that was there for Terrible Tornado. You'll basically get the merits, so that way you can take Atomic Samurai all the way up to like merit level 10, and then the limited draw tickets will help you basically to get hopefully get Atomic Samurai, because you'll have the 20 draw tickets. It's a very expensive 198 gold inside the shop. Then you can see they also have the spring limited draw ticket pack, basically for 220 world. You're limited to 40 purchases per week. 40 purchases per week. If anything says to you cash grab, but quite like a limited draw ticket pack that can be purchased 40 times a week, which is going to give you 10 tickets. Yeah, there you go. Along with that, the spring surprise pack. This is a random item, 6 world gold, limited to 3 purchases per day. Random payout between 65 and 180 world silver, or a limited draw ticket. We'll look at these inside the shop, but they're just fucking stupid as hell. Now, here goes the really bad thing that I want to point out about this game, right? Is number one, we've already had the Terrible Tornado limited event that basically came to the game in all but 3 days of its launch. That's not so bad, except for the fact that she's not available at all anymore, and there was no chance for you to basically get the silver that you needed to basically try to go after her, other than the silver that you were gonna have there. And then we got them moving the Saitama, Dreamworld Saitama, from the normal draw pool that he's in into a limited draw pool, which made no sense, because the whole purpose of the limited draw pool is that these characters are no longer available. But that raises questions as to what's going on in the regular draw pool, because it doesn't seem like outside of you paying the $99 to get the character, or you just getting extremely lucky that you were getting Saitama or Speed of Sonic Sound. Like, those characters seem very limited in supply in terms of what they're giving you, which questions the draw rate against those characters inside the regular draw pool. Anyways, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now we are getting Atomic Samurai, and he's available now inside the game. But here goes the problem with Atomic Samurai, right? Is he's also a limited draw pool. Now we've basically had a month to a month and a half worth of game time, and we have not had a single event. However, inside their activity notice, we're getting notice that the Atomic Samurai character trial, the Atomic Samurai biography quest, and Atomic Samurai Abyssal Wanderer is like events. Like, these are not events. These are not the way we view events. Events are things basically in game that would warrant me to basically get either rates up on materials, rates up on character selections, or even help me get silver and some of the limited draw tickets inside the game. These don't account for events. they don't account for events. I hate to say that to you, but these are just like, these are introductions. So I'm going to give you the best example of this, right? So I didn't draw anything against my Saitama or against Saitama when he was in the limited draw pool. I'd advise that you didn't either, but essentially that's where we were at with the game, right? Is hey, we're gonna get these, right? So they gave us, you have unclaimed hero allowance rewards. Well, I still haven't received my 750 tickets, so who knows why I didn't receive these. Mail deleted. Okay, so I had unclaimed hero, whatever. I don't know where the hell those came for or what they represented. But here you see, this is the character draw. So I drew on the limited draw for Atomic Samurai, and you see here that every 10 character draws, you're guaranteed an SR, a higher quality item, and then every 60 you get a SSR or higher quality item. Now I was able to get Atomic Samurai, and I did get a double SSR pull on the 60s because I got Atomic Samurai and I got a dupe for Genos as well. But it was on the 60th draw where I'm guaranteed to get the SSR, right? Now, if I didn't get Atomic Samurai, I had to purchase another 120, but the problem comes into acquisition of your world silver coins, where I'm basically being asked to pay about 2,600. I was lucky enough to save up basically enough for just the 60 pulls, and now I'm out of stock, which puts me in a bad place because that means I only have 12 days to acquire an additional 26, whatever, that'd be like 12,600 crystals basically to get a 60 pull on his thing, so that way I can get the impression arms if I really want that impression arms for Atomic Samurai. Personally, I'm not excited about Atomic Samurai, so I'm not really rushing to get 60s, and I'm becoming very delusioned by the game because it feels like it's failing right before my eyes anyways. They can't even handle simple things where, like, for instance, they did the Crunchyroll applied rewards where basically every 2 weeks you would get 750 of the world silver by just basically logging in with your Crunchyroll premium membership account. However, it's March 1st. I haven't even received the email for the code. I had to go through fucking customer service in order to get the initial 750 from when they announced it, and it's 750 crystals. Even if you give me the full 1,500 crystals, that doesn't even account for a full multi-pull on a character. Like, I don't even get a full multi-pull at a chance on a character, so it's just terrible. I would rather them just had say, hey, if you're a Crunchyroll premium member, we're gonna give you 10 tickets and 10 tickets, so that way I know, like, hey, just from being a Crunchyroll member, I'm gonna get a multi-draw on a character, and at the very least, it'll either be a SR or it'll be a SSR character or whatever, so it's free to play. The gacha rates in this game, absolutely terrible, absolutely terrible. Just buyer beware on that. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. So let's take a look at what they're talking about amounts to events inside this game, right? Because I think those are the funny portion. So if you're playing the game and you come inside here, you can see this is the character trial for SSR character for Atomic Samurai. And you can see over here, this is the growth booster pack that they have for him that they're talking about inside the shop. So if you were to go inside here, you can basically say, like, hey, this is the draw pack. I hate these numbers. It's just showing even more what the game is really about in terms of being like fresh off your boat, kind of like straight up gotcha FOMO missing out. You'll get the 20 additional tickets, but unfortunately with those 20, it seems like the rates do go up a little bit in terms of you maybe getting something. I can't say that and confirm that for sure, but I feel like this could be another Maple Leafs kind of story kind of thing or whatever. I can't remember what game just got outed for basically doing what it is. You'll get the wheels, basically demon slaying Fathom for him. I don't count these as events. This is not an event though. Like, these are not events. Why are they calling these events? I don't know, but the game is very lackluster. I'm really feeling like putting it down, mostly because like I said, these are not events. You know, these do not events mix. I mean, 7-day sign-in. We haven't even had another 7-day sign-in. Basically for the game, we haven't had any other. The combat maelstrom's not an event. So like to call these events is just is very loose. I mean, even if we jumped in and looked at Atomic Samurai, I'm not quite frankly impressed with the character kit overall. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just not excuse me, he's just not quite my thing in terms of what it is. Basically, the character has a couple of different styles, where he has Iato and Bato form. If I'm messing those up, I really apologize. But basically, in his Bato form, you are moving a lot quicker, and then in his Bato form, you are moving with heavy attack. So I would say like one is basically like the heavy attack version of the character basically moving, and the other one is not. So yeah, overall, like, this is what we're playing through right here is essentially the same thing. So like, it's the trial, but it's essentially like your characters this is essentially the characters a story that they have you do. So I don't know what it is that they have you doing here and why, but this is giving you some. So like we can see here, we're going to switch to the auto form of the character, and basically you'll notice that the hits become heavier overall, and that's it. Use YSkill to assume a stance. Okay, well, I guess the game doesn't want me to do anything. Use E skill to assume a stance. You notice it's pretty much done. Like, there's nothing for me to do here. Like, it's not. I'm locked into this. This is a joke. This is the trial that they have inside of here. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. 1 second. All right, so we're good to go now. I can't do the start trial, the trial, because something's bugged about it and it wouldn't unlock from his examples inside there. So I'm missing out on the 50 and the 5, I guess, whatever. These are not events. That's the problem with the game, is that we have yet to have events in the game. Even worse than not having the events in the game is that what they do present as events and what they do present as playable things for you, they're very limited in their nature. They're very unappealing in their rewards, and that's the problem. Like, even if I was to jump in and I was to say, hey, like my monthly allowances and stuff like that, you know, this is probably the battle pass version of the game, basically inside in here to do this, do that, or whatever, and you basically collect these. But if we were to look at stuff like what they're talking about is accounting for, what they are saying is accounting for, you know, events, that would be something like the Fierce Mercenary's Heart, that event that pops up, the biography quest that pops up for you know, Atomic Samurai. These events is nothing more than just point and go type things. So like, for instance, I have this one accepted right now. It's a simple quest that required me to wait a day for some reason. I guess that makes it more it makes it take longer because it wants me to wait a whole day to finish the quest. But essentially all I'm doing with the quest is just basically running to a character, clicking on the dialogue options, and then moving along from there. It does not make an event, especially when the event feels so dead on its introduction. It's just not it's not entertaining at all. It doesn't make an event. Like, this is something that's just included with the character basically being introduced to the game, and it should not amount to anything inside there. Like I said, the dialogue stuff inside the game just feels so very mundane, and it doesn't even feel like it needs to be. It feels dry. After you play limited child, this is stupid. And if you fail these, you'll end up having to do these over again. But guys, these developers are killing this game. It is not surprising to me either when you look up Perfect World Games. So for instance, like, here we go with more limited time choice event. And don't fail these, because you'll spend the whole day basically just redoing these things over and over again. And it's so stupid. I can't be surprised at this point anymore. I really can't. Like, it's that bad. Now, when you look at the games that Perfect World has done in the past, it's not surprising to me that this game probably will not last test of time. Like, you know, they've put out like a lot of games that have just failed on their face front, and they don't really seem to last anyways. The biggest one just being Perfect World, but God, is it bad? Is it terrible? Like, they seem to capture the essence of One Punch Man, but with none of the you know, insights there that like make you want to continue to play the game overall. This is unintriguing. This is not an event. Like, that's an event. That's what they qualify as an event that gives you 100 silver. So there's not like, you know, it's terrible. And then, you know, when you start looking at what's left with the content for the game, I'm at level 72. I've kind of really just taken a backseat to playing the game, really, because I've become somewhat bored with the daily gameplay loop of the game as well. The characters are intriguing to me, the design is intriguing, but to be honest with you, at level 72, you basically start to trail off on the content that they're offering, and for reaching that level, they're not really giving you items worth basically your time. So everything starts to feel very boring, very bland in terms of the characters. Your progression on the characters feels very inflated in terms of like, what am I supposed to be leveling these characters for? I don't feel enthralled to basically leveling them other than competing against other players to see how far I can get my character. But then I'm competing against players who are clearly whales, and there's just not a whole lot here on the meat on the bones. It's really at the point where I would say, you know, for better or worse, maybe it's just time to like bail on the game. You know, I'll probably play it for maybe another month so that way I can get whatever monetary value I invested in the game back. But really, to be honest with you, I'm just not that interested anymore. When you look at like overall the characters and stuff like that, I do really like their designs in general and the way the combat feels. It's very solid. However, the problem is there. It's like you've got a very solid gameplay system, and once you get past that solid gameplay system, everything just starts to fall apart really, really heavily and really, really fast, really, really quickly. You lose any intrigue from the playing characters because you don't have a way to really engage those characters in any type of meaningful way inside the game other than like the same endless loop of power grab inside there. They don't offer any events basically, and so you feel like you're basically being asked to be nickel and dimed at every stage and every point in the game, and that's never going to feel really good. Why do we have so many limited draws within the time that the game's been released and not have anywhere near the number of events? And the events that they're calling events, these are just not events. They're just basically like, you know, you could have thrown these out any way you want to. I know this is a very bland video for you guys, but that gives you guys the idea of what you're basically essentially playing in this game. It's a very bland effort at producing One Punch Man content, and the fact that most of these heroes don't even really change their looks and disguises at all over the course of the One Punch Man, you know, series, whether you're looking at the manga or whether you're looking at, you know, the anime, doesn't really inspire where they're going with the game in the future. So I really don't see this game lasting, you know, the year, but we'll see. It's run by Crunchyroll, so that's the other problem. Until next time, guys, peace.